Hello, what's up? Welcome back. What's up, everybody? This is Jovonni, the host of the beginning of the never ending. In this chapter, we archive the story of Shinshin Yuder. Sounds like a really cool anime character, right? In his origin story as a director, right? You will hear an actor's journey of finding his own way of purpose. Whether growing up in the world feeling alone, being able to create his own story and his own community of laughter and family. Dude, the journey is amazing. The story is so deep. I mean, like, so deep. We, in fact, have a lizard who joins our show live in the studio. Craziness, man. Even they had to see it. So, this chapter, we have an art donation by Afro Thunder, also known as me. Don't worry about that. Their piece was chosen by Mr. Yuder himself, so you know it's good. You gotta love the mountains. Who cares about the beach, okay? Now, we also have a Discord channel, so if you would like to join our community, please check it out. It's in the description below. If you're an artist, want to donate some pieces, potentially be featured on the show, check it out. You can message our moderators on Discord as well. So, in there, that we can discuss all the cool topics that we got going on, share ideas, we get to collaborate, even help each other grow. But most importantly, okay, every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, we always have a show. So please join us 7 p.m. Standard Time. Get involved, get in the chats. You never know, you might be invited on the show. Thank you, everyone who's been supporting us. Our IG is blowing up. We're going viral. It's crazy. But without further ado, Mr. Shinshin Yuder Tsai. Hello, what's up? Welcome back once again to the beginning of the never ending. I'm really excited for today's episode. I haven't got to talk to an actor yet, so I'm really, really excited for this. If you haven't known, this is the beginning of the never ending. This is the story of people. We archive the lives of everyone. We call ourselves nomads. We are just wandering place to place, the passerbys, the people you walk by every day. They all have stories, and we want to archive them, remember them, so they're not to be forgotten. And so today I have a special guest, Mr. Shinshin Yuder Tsai.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Hello.
Up, man? So this is for family, okay? So I'm really excited to kind of dig from the very beginning.
All right.
And as always, where does the ethnicity, ancestry, where does it all begin?
Great question. So I am really bad about knowing who my family is.
Okay.
Because in like the late 70s, I think late 70s, early 80s, my parents brought me here from Taiwan. So our ancestry hails from Taiwan,
Okay.
which then you get some real dicey things depending on who you ask. Are we really Chinese? Are we really Taiwanese? Is there just water in between? So I also can't answer that really well. I'm also really bad with geography. So I can tell you generally where I think China is, and I know Taiwan's an island, and I've flown there, but I've never actually seen how to get there. All of which is to say, I'm Taiwanese.
So I'm curious though, is this both parents?
This is both parents from Taipei, the capital of Taiwan.
Okay.
Both of their families also live in Taipei, and so they have lived in the city their whole lives until after their college days. They're like, you know what? We're going to go to America and provide for our kid who hasn't been born yet, so that they may have a better opportunity in the land of freedom.
So I'm really curious about this part. Your grandmother and grandfather from both sides are from the same city and capital?
Correct.
So have you ever met them?
Yes.
Okay.
Could not tell you their names.
Okay.
I know their grandpa and grandma.
Let's go.
I believe my father's father
Okay.
is the only one who's alive.
Ooh.
Yes. And in my life, I've met each of them a handful of times. My mother's parents helped babysit me maybe until I was like 4.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
Out in America.
out in America. And then I met them once in my early teens, and then I never saw them again, and they passed.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
Do you remember anything like any personalities or any like attributes of them?
Yes, my mom's father was a big jokester, liked to do pranks. Like during bath time, like the one distinct like visceral memory is like during bath time after he would clothe me, he'd always like pull like my like underwear waistband and just let it snap, and it'd go smack. I'd be like, ow, and he'd laugh like for days on end. I also have his hairline.
Oh, yo.
Like the male pattern baldness. So I'm never like he's never gonna leave me because I literally have his genetics. And I remember my mom's mom wearing a lot of jade.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I think. I really couldn't tell you. I just watched like TikToks where like people are like showing jade to each other in like I think Chinese communities.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look at this. And they're like, no, that's trash. And then like an almost identical bracelet. They're looking at like, this is good. I'll pay for this.
Do you remember, I imagine you have to speak to them. So do you know Chinese? Or is it, yeah, right?
Yeah, it's, so if
Mandarin,
if we get into the real nitty gritty of it, Mandarin or Cantonese.
Mandarin or Cantonese.
And then Taiwan has a Taiwanese language, which I've always drawn the allegory of like standard American English to like Southern heavy like drawl. So like you have words that obviously connect, but because of an accent and differentiation in region, you can kind of get what you're thinking they're trying to say, but you may not unless you're from the area. So I speak some Mandarin. I speak maybe 12 words of Taiwanese, and I can understand maybe 4 times that. Maybe. And that's where I like to sit.
Was it a thing for your, and you mentioned that you were with your grandparents from your mother's side till 4. Did you ever get to spend any amount of time with your grandpa, grandma from your father's side like that?
Maybe. Oh, not like that. We visited maybe 2 or 3 times.
For real?
Yeah. So like I have no family in anywhere in America except for my mom now.
Whoa.
Everybody is back in Taiwan. And I'll be honest, once she passes, I will probably never see them again in my whole life because I just have no means of contact.
So, okay. Your mother,
Yes.
any brothers and sisters?
She has 1 sister.
Okay.
So I have 2 cousins from that side, I think.
And they're all in China?
3. I have 3 cousins.
Ta-
Yes.
Tai-
They're all in Taiwan.
Taiwan, excuse
Correct.
me.
Very good.
And your grandfather,
Yeah, from mom.
Grandmother?
Yes,
did
from
they have
mom's
any
side.
kids? They have other kids except for your father?
Yes, they had 8.
8 kids?
Yeah, they have
Holy snap.
8 kids, yes.
Is he like the oldest, youngest?
He's middle. He's not quite the oldest. Well, my father passed away in 2016. So he was middle. I think slightly older than like literal middle, but he's the middle child.
And do any of his family live out in America?
Nah, literally everybody is in Taiwan. I think I had a cousin who went to a university in America, but has since graduated and gone back to the homeland.
Mother, oldest, youngest?
Mother is oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how they met?
Through university. I believe how my father puts it was he was the TA for one of her classes. She was failing, and he said, let's go on a date. I'll tutor you, and the rest is history.
Wow, you gotta love it like that one.
Right? It seems like a classic American
That's a
thing
good
to
one
do,
right there,
So,
dude. Let's get it.
yep.
You said your grandmother, your grandmother, grandfather from your father's side.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know too.
I do not know.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even less so.
How would you describe your father?
A man with a short temper, but an exceptionally kind heart. Huge jokester. Loved to chat with people. And always did his best to become a better person.
You mentioned this kind of the jokester thing. It's kind of interesting how you kind of have it's in the blood.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
It's no matter what side it's on, mom's side, father's side, they have this jokesters. That's awesome.
Yep.
Your mother, how would you describe her?
Also short-tempered, but also exceptionally kind. Really, really thoughtful, really shrewd, and a little abrasive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting word, abrasive.
Yeah. I guess it comes from the idea that, like, a little distance between her means you're not going to be literally rubbed the wrong way. Or figuratively, sorry. I use literally, figuratively, which is not good. That's the American side of me. Right, so, like, a little distance from her and, like, everything's copacetic. Nothing's hurting. There's no friction. You get a little closer.
Start feeling the heat.
You start, yeah, exactly, and you kind of like, and things get a little rough. So like, yeah, there's always a distance.
So, you were born in America.
Yes, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is the first stop.
Yeah, yes, Wisconsin was the first stop. Yeah.
How long were you there?
Maybe 8 months.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, grew up in Chicago.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a very interesting story, my friend.
I don't know if that's true.
We'll see.
Here's the hoping.
I think one of the things I'm curious, because your mother and your father, is there a big Taiwanese community out in, like, Wisconsin or Chicago?
Nope. I could not put my hand on a nice, like, chunk or community of Taiwanese people in America. It's very, very dispersed, from what I understand.
Okay. But I know the future, okay, chat? Okay? I know the future. You don't know the future, but I know the future. This is why I find this is so interesting. Okay, so Chicago, how long were you there?
Till I was 12. So what, 05? 05. 05, 06.
How would you describe yourself as a child?
Oh, shit. Ooh, I mean, shoot.
No, we're good now. I think we made it, right? Yes.
Perfect. Thank God.
Perfect.
Okay, we're good now. All right, I can relax a little. As a child, oh God, needy, lonely, always the class clown.
Ooh.
Yeah, definitely the need just for any attention, and desperately seeking and reaching for that. Exceptionally obsessed with Power Rangers.
Hey, who wasn't?
Oh God, right. And then,
who was your favorite?
Tommy.
Oh, you know.
Hands down.
Yeah, had
Greatest.
to be. Yeah.
So good. Rest in peace. Absolute favorite. So yeah. God, as a kid, let me see. I don't know. Lonely. That's what comes to mind.
Are you the only child?
I am. I was an exceptionally hard child to conceive, from what I understand, or as my mother would lead me to believe, anyway.
So what did your mother and father do?
Father was a chemical engineer, and so because of that, he also had me be a chemical engineer in college until I convinced him to let me do otherwise, which, let me tell you, Dad, if you can hear me, you may or may not have been right, but, you know, that's life. Mom is the logistics manager for a warehouse that does a bunch of odds and ends for, like, to-go services for restaurants. And that's what they do.
You're a kid in Chicago. I mean, the culture there is, like, mainly, like, I think African-American and white, right? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, predominantly, I believe the predominant culture is black and Italian. Those are the two cultures you'll see predominantly.
Friends? You mentioned loneliness, so...
Oh, yeah. So my parents were an exceptionally insular type of people. So they were like, we won't go out much. Maybe we'll watch movies. Maybe we'll go out like once a month. But other than that, we're staying home.
Really?
So I didn't have many friends to speak of until I actually hit like second grade that I can like count off the top of my head and like quantify in my mind.
Was school fun?
Yes.
Okay.
School,
you enjoyed it.
I Well, yeah, only because like that's like the only stimulus I got.
That's the only thing
Friends
on-
hanging out. I distinctly remember listening to Backstreet Boys during lunch for school, and that's what I remember.
You're spending most of your time in your home in Chicago.
Yep.
Apartment house.
House.
Okay. What do you do for fun in home?
Great question. Not that many action figures. I was more
Yeah.
obsessed with prop replicas of being the Power Rangers. So like, I was not interested in playing with Power Rangers. I was interested in being. But I have to imagine if I were to take off like my amateur psychiatrist had, it'd be like a need to like be the center of attention, like on TV, and like, you know, like defeating the bad guys and like being cool and having friends that are literally like tied to you and you can't separate. So yeah, I think that's what I did a lot, was play Power Rangers
With
myself.
man.
Yeah, a lot of make believe, which also makes sense now that I'm thinking about it.
This is why.
Yeah, I love this. This is
So
great.
you're going through up until second grade.
Up until about second grade.
Finally, you start like, okay, I have people.
Yep.
But did family come?
I distinctly remember one family friend
Family friends.
coming to visit us at some point.
You didn't even get to meet like your parents' friends?
Now, my parents don't have friends. That's the problem.
It was just them two.
Yeah,
And they worked, they came home.
Yep.
They worked, they came home.
Yep, my father's best friends were anybody in his company at any given time, and he didn't have many friends outside of that. My mom, also not really much of a social person, still isn't. So yeah, not a lot of friends there, which is also a foreign concept. Like, family friends is like a foreign concept to me as well.
You're going to second grade. You meet some people. Are you able to go to others at this, like in like elementary, middle school?
Yes, I got a bike.
Hey, the bike is.
Yeah. Oh.
People don't understand how much the bike changes the life. man.
Really, I know. And I see, like, I hate it because it means like I'm hating a part of myself as a child. I'm driving around my neighborhoods these days, and I see these kids on their like electric bikes, and I'm like,
Dude, they don't know.
you guys don't understand. Like,
Dude, miles.
I could only go as far as my legs took me.
Yeah.
You guys just gotta charge, right? Like, I don't know. It's not the same, but I really hate that I sound like an old person when I say that. So, but yeah, I got a bike. End of second grade. And let me tell you, I would visit. I had like 2 or 3 friends that I would visit around the neighborhood, and from there, it just sort of blossomed. Meeting more people, hitting my sort of social stride as a kid, and meeting more people. But then in 5th grade, end of 5th grade is when the bomb dropped, and my mom said we had to move to California for employment opportunities. So all the friends that I had so hard worked to make relationships with, I'd be losing at the end of 5th grade, which was a rough time.
It was a rough time for you.
It's a rough time only so far in as I'm a teenager, chock full of hormones, and I'm not entirely understanding my own emotions, and my parents aren't very good at identifying theirs. So it's a very confusing time, and I have no litmus test of like, oh, that's how I should be acting, or like, oh, that's not how I should be acting, or like, don't act.
Were you ever in part of like anything like, I guess like what you and your friends would do? Would it be more of like adventuring, or more of like we're gonna stay in the home, gaming, watching TV, like?
Oh, great question. More exploration. I was very much like a stay at home, let's just hang out, play toys, maybe video games. But meeting that group of friends was very much exploring the neighborhood. We'd hit the local community church, even though none of us are really religious, to get like frozen hot chocolates.
Yo.
And then we would go to the local Taco Bell and just get Crunchwrap Supremes and try to win like free like those free like cinnamon twists that I
Yo.
used to do on that like spinny game where like you drop a coin and you're trying to like hit all of the. I can't even remember the rules actually, but I just remember distinctly dropping. You're dropping like coin anyway. So yeah, that's what I remember as a childhood thing, just exploring.
Remember any of their names?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
I got Michael, Alan, Anas, Chris. Those are the 4 that come to mind. And one of those, I think one of them I still keep in touch with every so often.
oh, yo.
Yeah.
Can you describe him?
Michael, extremely outspoken, hilarious, a little arrogant, very, very funny, very kind. Alan, I would say, is also really nice, also a big joker. Had an older brother, so he was a little more childish.
Ooh. How was that? Because did you have to get to interact with the older brother?
Maybe like 4 times in my whole life. Yeah.
Was there ever like this wish? Because you know, being a Power Ranger, it seems like, you know, because that's like.
Oh heck yeah, yeah.
It's like I wish I had it, or like a younger, or like, you know.
Well, okay, so in relation to that, I remember my parents asking me what I wanted for Christmas. I'm like 5 or 6 years old, and I said to them, I'd love like a brother or sister. And then I wake up next morning, and I'm like, oh, it's Christmas. So I run to their bedroom, and I throw open the door. I was like, it's Christmas. And then, like, burned into my retina, and it's like one of those, like, images you'll never get out of your life, is my parents on top of each other. So I would assume trying to get me that brother or sister. And so they're like, you should go watch TV. And so I closed the door, and I watched TV. And that was the last time I ever wanted, like, a brother or sister. So... yes and no. It was just, for me, it's very much, like, it's the same thing with, like, extended family. At this point in life, I'm like, I don't really know what I missed, so there isn't a yearning for it.
So leaving these friends behind,
Yeah,
and coming to California, and for everyone out there, there's no social media, there's no cell phones, there's no staying. You're gone.
yeah.
They're
Maybe I think this might be the burgeoning of MySpace. Maybe.
Maybe, but who? What,
Yeah.
what, you know what? Sixth grader knows about.
Not me, that's for sure.
So you get to California. What city?
Arcadia, I think, is our first stop. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Rough. Let me tell you.
Chicago's though is snow. Like there's like what season did you come through?
We left right before summer started, or as summer started, because I remember I started school like maybe 2 weeks after like we finished the move.
Yikes.
So it was hot as hell.
Yeah, for
for a guy who's used to like snow and like mild temperature and like some humidity,
Yo.
like, to be put into the desert is like rough.
That's like not a good homecoming here.
No, I'm still not used to it. I've been here for like freaking over 14 years.
You get to your class. You moved house, apartment here?
Apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still have your bike? Are you like?
No, I got no bike.
So you're
have
like
room.
You're starting over again.
I'm starting fresh. I have to walk to school. Learn how to play handball.
Oh, yo, that's a whole different thing.
Let me tell you, that's how I got in with the kids at in California. Oh, I skipped a grade because my birthday in Illinois means that I'm younger, but in California means I'm older, so I skipped 6th grade entirely, which, from what I understand, is where you learn the order of the months, because I don't know the order of the months. I just forced myself to learn them like a couple years ago.
Whoa.
But before that, I was like, April, maybe after July. So that's...
Yo, that's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just small things like that.
Just bad. Not great. My grammar's terrible, too. So
you get to 6th grade. You're still the only child. You're in a new environment. You have no family here. And you have to do this again. Are you confident here?
Oh God, no.
No?
I reclused. I came into myself so much. What I would do is I would come home from school. My mom and I would maybe have dinner, not talk, and then I would just go straight to my room and watch anime from like 6 p.m. to like 12 a.m. Go to sleep, wake up at like 4, and just watch more anime until school started. Rinse and repeat for about a year, I think. Yeah.
You really felt like you just was like, dang, everything
Yeah.
was taken. It's like, oh, man. What anime though?
Oh, let me tell you, best friend never leaves me.
What anime were you like rocking during this time?
I gotta go with that. Naruto,
Oh, of course, man.
amazing,
Yo.
iconic. Bleach,
Oh.
Death Note was my first like non like shonen thing. But I remember like digesting just a bunch of like those power creep mangas and animes. So like Beat the Vandal Buster, Hunter x Hunter. Oh God, but Naruto King. That's the one that stayed with me.
No one you could connect with Naruto? Like, this is like in Arcadia? I mean, right?
You'd think, but let me tell you, man.
No anime kids, like, there's time. Like, nobody you can just, like...
I got like the handball kids. You know, like that was like my community, but like they're so focused on handball, and I'm not great at handball. I'm not great at athletics in general.
So this goes on for, like, what?
This goes on for like the entire middle school period. So like
7th, 8th?
yeah, 7th.
You skip 6, so you go straight to 7th?
Yep. So I was only there for like maybe 2 years.
And then you move again?
Yep. We moved. I think I moved like 3 or 4 times.
During that middle school?
No, like you get 2 times. 2 times middle school, 2 times high school. That's how I'm quantifying it. So, yeah.
Where you hop to a different city or same city?
Whole different. So Arcadia, we went to next to Upland. There you go. So Arcadia to Upland to Rancho Cucamonga is essentially the big moves anyway.
To Upland to Rancho.
Yep.
So you go to different schools in each of these spaces?
Luckily, Upland was the butt end of middle school. So I finish middle school in the IE, and I complete all of my high school in the same place, thankfully, which is Etiwana High School.
So you go and now end up at Rancho.
Yep.
Do you have a cell phone? Oh, do they have cell phone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you were able to
I have flip phone. Yeah.
flip phone.
That's what it was.
Yikes. So you're starting over again.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, almost like a good, what is that, like 12 years of almost your life.
Yeah.
Not a lot of like interactions with other people.
No.
Did you get to know yourself?
No.
You weren't going introspectively, like who you are, what you are?
No, I was projecting as much as I could, which I think was the fixation on anime, because it was weird. A lot of going to like Borders and Barnes and Noble, buying manga, finding manga, watching anime. That's kind of my identity for a while until I hit high school. So not a lot of self-discovery. I will say the one nice self-discovery thing is I take a after-school class called Take 5 in middle school, which you get to the teacher just lets you reenact your favorite movie scenes. And I was like, well, I'm going to reenact some comedy scenes that I love.
Comedy scene.
Yeah, and I think that's my technical first foray into theater.
How did you enjoy that?
I think I loved it.
I think. Why?
Only because I can't tell you anything besides
That you were just part of the club.
I was part of the club, correct. But I had to enjoy it because when I went to high school, I looked for the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat, as soon as I get to high school, I look for like what theater is there.
And did you able to get that?
Oh yeah, let me tell you.
First semester?
First semester.
A freshman year?
Yeah, Etiwana High School. Mr. Kiley, our drama teacher,
Oh, this is interesting.
transcendent. Literally one of the best people in my whole lives. This man is the reason why I do theater.
Explain.
First day of class, rambunctious ass class, let me tell you. Mr. Kiley is a tall, broad-shouldered, extremely muscular, extremely athletic man. No hair. He's a very aggressive-looking man. But he's teaching theater, which is ultimately an extremely empathetic art form. And so we're laughing, we're making noises. We're not really paying attention to him. And Mr. Kiley kind of cuts the crowd's jeering and like overall rowdiness, and he like calls a student up. And the guy comes up on stage of the classroom with Mr. Kiley, and Mr. Kiley hands him this orange. And then he tells the guy, "You're going to take this orange and you're going to put it to my forehead. And when you do that, I will die." And so then Mr. Kiley gets down on his knees, closes his eyes, bends his head forward for the guy to place the orange on his head. And then that's what Mr. Kiley does. The kid's looking at us going like, "What did I do?" And then we're like, "I don't know, what do you do?" So the kid like looks at the orange, touches Mr. Kiley's head. Mr. Kiley just like crumples over onto the floor, dead. And then like 6 seconds later, he like stands up, brushes himself off, snatches the orange out of the hand and goes, "I hope it's never that easy to kill somebody ever again." And in my head, I'm like, I don't really know what theater is, but if that's theater, I definitely want to keep doing this because I have no idea what I just watched.
Did he ever explain it?
Nope. And if I'm being completely honest, if I were to tell him that story, he'd be like, "I don't think I did that." But like that's that's like one of those like core memories I have. Like that's the reason why I'm in that's a big part of the reason why I'm in theater is that moment.
You get into this class.
Yep.
Freshman year, day one.
Yep.
You spent you're almost a good part of your life and needy, lonely, kind of the class count is kind of obsessed. Did this feel like, were you excited again, or was this like
exceptionally excited?
Really? That's cool to see.
Because it was the opportunity for me to be on stage, and really what it was it was an opportunity for people in larger than one person groups who were forced to watch me and not say anything else. And if I did well, they would laugh, I was like, this is literally the dream. I just need attention, and this class is giving that to me in as many opportunities as I'll take. So I was like, that's great.
Attention. This word comes up often.
Oh, yes.
You're going through, but there's a certain type of attention, right? It seems.
Sure. Yes.
You mentioned people not saying anything except for laughing with you though.
I'm hoping that's usually the case.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Sometimes
you didn't care.
Laughing. Nah. I'm hoping as long as I'm the cause of laughter, right? And it's because I'm laughing at my own joke. Great. If it's because I did something dumb, but people enjoyed it, great. It's just that need, that validation that like I exist.
Do you feel like you're a part of something now, like a community?
Not quite.
No. Why?
No, because all the things I remember doing for theater were not scene based. So I don't have scene partners. We're doing monologues, which monologue, like it's a one-person dialogue, right? So it's like, it's just me talking, or it's just me listening to somebody talk. It's never me engaging in a conversation. So I still have that weird ostracized feeling when I try to do the other things in the theater because I'm not used to it. I don't have a great frame of reference for what theater is. I have a preconceived notion that it's just you making jokes. Really, I guess what I thought it was stand-up. Now that I'm looking at it in retrospect. But no, it was theater.
Who's your favorite stand-up? During that time, do you remember?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch much stand-up.
That's why I was so curious.
Yeah. I'm not, that's the issue is that I'm not really a comedy guy.
Right.
Even though I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
Or I guess that was like what I wanted to do. Oh no, that's still what I want to do. I mean, I love making people laugh.
You're watching a ton of anime.
Yep.
Right? And Naruto's always kind of funny.
Oh hell yeah.
You know?
You're watching Power Rangers. You're watching a lot of cartoons.
Yes.
And cartoons has always a comedic feel normally to it.
Got it.
But it's more of like a noble action. Like you have these really prime like characters. Like they're the center, kind of the attention. The camera follows them. That kind of whole kind of dynamic.
Yep.
Was the chase to be like the main character? Like, were you like in this theater class thinking like, you know, I want to be the best, or I'm going to try to like, you know, like Naruto, you know, type of thing. Like, do you ever feel like you were trying to ever be someone else, or is it more of just trying to discover yourself?
Always trying to be someone else. The issue, I used to have a lot of internalized racism. So I never saw an Asian face. In fact, on Power Rangers, the only Asian face, the actress passed away. Right, so like that's
the yellow, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't see myself on stage a lot, and so it's hard for me to see myself be there. So it's not me vying for the lead in any given show. It's not me trying to make sure like I'm the top of the class. I'm just fighting for that attention wherever I can, however I can.
So how's freshman year?
Freshman year is interesting. It's fun. I generally view high school, I think, well, because it showed me theater. It showed me swing dancing.
Yo, I remember this.
Yeah, swing
Oh
dancing
my
was
gosh,
a big thing
yes.
for me.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So now dancing's in your life.
Dancing is in my life, yes.
That's such an interesting thing to pick up.
Well, what it was I was in a French class
Okay.
with, I want to say, Madame Broussel. I want to say that.
That was my French teacher.
Right? I think so. Chinese?
Yep.
Yep. Love her.
Yep. She's
so
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Speaks
she's super
no
dope.
Chinese. Speaks a lot of French.
Yes.
It's great. That's how it should be. But I remember in that class, there was a girl who was very attractive who said, "Hey, I'm part of a swing dance club that you should join." And I was like, in my head, I don't know about that. That's the swing dancing, that like weird thing that people do at the country bars where like you're hand in hand, you're just like going like around in a circle.
It's like we're doing ballroom dancing.
Yeah, I was like, I'm okay. I don't really want to do that, but I guess if you need a partner, sure. And then I go there, and the first thing I see is two people doing that, and I was like, you lied to me. This is not what you told me it was. I'm here under false pretenses. But then I saw what swing dancing was, which was just a really fun social dancing thing. And so I stayed. I did it for a while. And the friends I met from there during freshman year were interesting because they weren't my usual, what I would assume like my social circle would be, which is like, I assume like my social circle should have been like theater nerds or like anime nerds, and it was just like people who were from Inland Empire, who maybe didn't grow up in the best circumstances, but who were still very kind and a little rough around the edges. And that became my social group for at least like 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, until they all graduated. That's why.
So you go from, and are you two different people here? Are you like one person in high school versus another person at home?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of masking when I'm at school. I don't think my parents really knew who I was ever. And I think my mom is just finally starting to understand who I am. But a lot of masking at home, right? I'm just a boring, generic, depressed teen who like is really reclusive. And then at high school, I try to be as like exuberant and extroverted as possible.
How's your relationship with your parents during that time, kind of like high school?
Oh, yeah, rough. I don't like to tell them a lot of things. Still don't like to tell them a lot of things. They both have very short tempers. So I'm a little dicey around angry people is my issue. So I don't tell them a lot of things because telling them a lot of things is what gets me in trouble. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
You're gonna avoid it.
I'm going to avoid that. So yeah, so at home I'm one way. At school I'm another. And this tradition carries on for about like 10 years. Maybe more. Definitely all of school.
Was this like, did this take work to do? So are you trying, like, is this something that's just naturally that you were able to, I hate to say it, act?
You know, it doesn't take much work. For me, it's still very much the idea of being that class clown, right? So within that energy of the need to be validated energizes me to the point that like I will never come down from this high once I've felt it. And it's not until I'm much, much, much older where I've sort of got too tired of doing that and I don't care as much. Where I don't have the energy to do that as much anymore.
So I validated to others.
Sure, like just the validation of existence, right? Like
okay.
somebody watching me, somebody seeing me, even like a quick eye contact. Even if I don't make eye contact with them, but I see somebody's watching me because I'm doing something, I'm like, great, like my existence has been validated.
How do you feel about yourself?
Generally, okay. Leaning towards never really happy. Yeah.
Is it because you don't know what the example is? Is it because you don't know what happiness really kind of feels or looks like? Or I'm not trying to put thoughts in your head.
Oh no, you're
like,
good. You're
okay,
good.
I'm just like I don't know if you ever kind of like contemplated that.
I always think, sometimes say, it's because my parents had a hard time explaining how they felt about me, which I assume for most parents is, general adoration and love. But Asian people are not very good at that. So my parents were not very good at that.
They're not American.
No, they are Taiwanese.
They were Taiwanese.
Yes.
And I imagine they're very strong in their culture. Were they able to pass that to you?
No, because at a certain point, which was second grade, I guess this does tie in and make sense at a certain point. In second grade, prior to second grade, I was in Chinese speaking school only. And then second grade, they were like, it's time for you to assimilate into American society. And so they stopped teaching me Chinese so that I could become an American. And so it's because of that that I am more American than I am anything else. I'm more English speaking than I'm anything else.
One of the things I think I love about theater, especially from what I've heard when I was because we were in high school together, about Mr. Kylie's class, is his the theater's description of love. What is love? What is love to you? Kind of like what is your relationship with love throughout this kind of high school time? Because I would imagine that you love theater. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining at this time because you kind of love the validation and attention. What was your relationship with love? Did it feel like you were able to really or with others? Actually, that's a really, not just with people, but like what is kind of love to you kind of during this thing?
Very intense question. All right. Well, as a teen, love is everything. I was a huge fan of rom-coms. Because at the end of a rom-com, people who love each other, regardless of what happens during the movie, will be together. So love is literally the thing I live for. And I find myself often in a place where I have a lot of love to give and nobody to give it to or, to have received, etc. And it's even harder because I don't have, and I assume it's because in my family life, I didn't have people telling me that they loved me. As an adult, with hindsight, I can see that my mom cutting fruit for me, my dad taking me out to watch movies even though he hates movies. Like, I understand that to be love, right? But because what I see love to be is only from the screen, the stage. My perception of love is like grand overt gestures of like, I love you in front of like multiple people, right? Like these grandstanding, huge swaths of physicality where like people, like you're performing this action of love. So I guess as a teen, that's my perception of love, right? It's action, it's performative. Now, I think it's just somebody who is willing to put up with me. That's what I feel like love is. So yeah, that's sort of like my grand, like the spectrum of like what I think and defines love.
Do we able to experience that in school?
Oh, maybe. I was way too chaotic as a teenager. So I don't know if I did, I experienced it in very rare spurts. But I don't ever remember being quite stable in inner wise, if that makes sense, until after high school. Oh, and even then, not even for a while. Yeah.
Going through high school, looking towards the future, what was the plan? You just now getting to know and learn a little bit more about yourself.
Yep.
What you kind of like, what you don't. You only have 4 years to do it, so good luck.
Yep, right, and that's for sure.
So what is kind of like what's kind of the future entail for like, you know, what was the kind of like, okay, graduation, shoot, all right, what was is that like awesome, cool, I'm ready to go, I got a plan, or was it more like?
That's a good question. I remember applying to as many schools as possible. Was accepted to UC Irvine. Go Anteaters. Zot. And for that, so my father's goal for me was to become a chemical engineer. And he always said, as long as you come out with a chemical engineering degree, I can guarantee you a job that will pay you $70K out the gate, and you can only go higher from there. And like, I've only just started really, really understanding like money beyond just like hundreds that are tangible in my hand. So I'm like, $70K, that's nothing, right? Like anybody could make that. Like, who cares? I'm gonna follow my dreams, which is to be on stage and make people laugh. Again, I still don't probably understand that theater is not necessarily stand-up. And I'm not saying that I wanted to do stand-up. I'm just saying that college Shin probably thought that theater was just somebody standing there and telling jokes and having people laugh at them. And I think as a society, we've decided that's called stand-up. But Shin still thinks that's theater, which is why he's like, I'm going to go into theater. And that's what I do. I go into theater as a chemical engineer major and a drama minor, or at least intending to minor, if not to double major. And so I do the thing of waking super early, going to theater classes, because that's how they weed out the haves and the have-nots. As anybody who's willing to wake up that early at least gets a shot at being in the school. And then going to chemical engineering classes after that. Did not go great. I'm a very bad student. So failed out of pretty much all of my non-arts classes. And I'm probably failing my arts classes too. And it gets to the point where I'm about to be kicked out of school. And so I pull some lie out my butt to the people who are auditing my student, what is it called? Like, they'll kick you out because you're not a student anymore. So, like, those people, I'm, like, lying to them, being like, I'll be better. And they believed me, which I'm very thankful for. And, I mean, technically I did do better because I just decided to take classes that weren't as hard. But at that point, my father had also put me into a bunch of chemical engineering internships during the summers. And I had a heart-to-heart with him. I was like, listen, I may be supported being a chemical engineer, but I'll never be happy. And I'd much rather struggle and do something I love than be okay and hate every day of it.
How was that conversation? How was that like moment?
A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I've always known my father to be a very, again, short-tempered person. He's reasonable, but he learned that reasonability. It wasn't like something he was always raised with. So I just assumed he was going to blow up. But I can remember we were in a Chinese hotel because we were in Beijing. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. And he's like, well, okay, well then you got to try this theater thing as hard as you can. And that's what I did. So the rest of school was dedicated to theater and doing as much of it as possible with some varied success here and there. And that is how college went for me.
Did you any key players during college? You mentioned that how much Mr. Kiley
Yes.
offered you in that profession of like teacher.
Yes.
Did you have any really good, profound teachers that helped you or is helping you?
Yes. So UCI has two main players that shaped my life there and continue to shape my life. There's a improv team called Improv Revolution, go IREV, who's still going at UCI. I believe we're on almost our 15th year as a team. So that's exciting. Maybe not. Yeah, 15 sounds right. And that is a team that I was on for the entire duration of college. And from there, I've met some of my closest friends, most of whom I still see. I just saw a huge handful of them like 2 weekends ago, actually. So that's a team that I perform a show every 2 weeks, every quarter for 20 quarters. And so I get to know this team really well, and we get new people, and people graduate and cycle out, etc. So IREV's a big part of my college family. And then my mentor is a old man named Dr. Keith Fowler, who is a very kind theater director who I learned a lot of what I know about theater now during those 4 or 5 years that I was at college. So those are two huge players at UCI who have shaped my life. UCI at large has helped shape a lot of how I perceive the world and how I interact with it.
You go through college here.
Yeah.
Okay. You enter high school.
Yeah.
With this orange dye,
Yep.
Just like, whoa, this is dope. Like,
Yep.
this is going to be, right?
Exactly.
Right? You enter college, though, with this pressure, right? In college is where this is where you get the chance to really, like, build your connections to help you career-wise, kind of sprout out and do your thing. When you were a kid, you were acting, right? The kind of Power Rangers, that anime type of person.
Yep.
Was college anywhere like I had hoped? When you were performing, right? And again, theater is a little bit, it's definitely like more storytelling.
Yep.
Right? And where definitely they lean on the drama side. And one of the things you mentioned to me was that when you were in a kind of like high school time, you felt as if you had this, I don't want to misquote you here,
Sure.
but this kind of like internal racism.
Yeah.
Did you kind of feel a space for you in a theater world, going through UCI? Do you ever feel like there's a place for Shinshin to be able to, be on these main stages like Pantages or like doing these really crazy,
Yeah.
Did like your mentors ever like, hey, this is what you have to do to get to that point? Or was it more just like, we'll just teach you school and good luck after? Or what was it? You understand my question here?
Definitely the latter. Here's the issue. if I were a smarter man or a smarter kid, and I wish this every day, I would have fully capitalized on every opportunity to prepare myself outside of school. My issue is that I dove headfirst into everything in the school and did no root sowing and growing so that after school I would be prepared. So all the moves I had made and all the energy I had expended only served me in the school. And once I got out, no connections, nobody to help me, nothing to show for. A degree, which may or may not mean anything depending on who you ask. So that's the issue, is that I leave with some soft skills. I leave with a vague perception of what I enjoy doing, which is theater, but no connections. So I graduate school with not a single idea nor person who could really help open doors for me to get into theaters to do what I want to do, which I didn't bring this up, but at the end of high school, Mr. Kiley gave me an opportunity to direct. So I directed like a small play, and then he let me write like a full-length play and direct that. And directing the full-length play, which is what like really gave me the theater bug, and not just like the stand-up bug. The directing thing is now what I am pursuing in college, while trying to do the acting thing, because I can still think. Sorry, this is where the internalized racism, acting, being on stage thing comes into play. I still don't see myself as being somebody who can be on stage.
Yeah.
In an improv team, I am, because, right, my skin and who I am doesn't matter, because improv is about making up everything as you go along and listening and reacting. It's not about who you are. It's about the skill at which you can create a world with your team. So like I still don't have a great idea of like me being on stage. And I leave college still not being like, oh yeah, I could be on stage. I'm still very much like a director driven kind of guy. So yeah, that's sort of a weird roundabout answer to
Like
I think
this
your
world.
question. Yeah.
You graduate in what year?
2016.
Yo.
Yeah, 5 years.
So this is the same year.
Yes.
Did he get to...
No. Oh no, he passed away 2015. That makes sense. Yeah, 2015. So he passed away at the end of 2015. I'm in theater class with Dr. Keith Fowler, and I get a phone call from the nurse. Or I just get a phone call from a random number, but I go to answer it. And it's somebody who's a nurse at the hospital that my father is at. My father finds out that he has cancer around 2013. And so around then his health is improving, then declining, improving, declining. And so 2015 the nurse calls me and says, your father's in the surgery room, but we're letting you know that depending on how things go, he may not make it. So I stay on the line, and about 10 minutes pass, and then the nurses come back on and says, hey, your father's passed, I'm so sorry, and runs me through the I assume the usual stuff they talk about with people who have passed away. So anyway, talk to my teacher, tell him the situation. He's like, well, I'm so sorry, you should get out of here. So I get out of here, call my mom, and we rush to Chicago, where my dad is, where he passed. Deal with that, and then I stay one more year at college to finish it out. So yeah, that's that story.
He I didn't realize. Did he send you and your mom out here alone?
My parents do not have a great relationship, and so the only way my mom found a way to get out of that situation was to move me and her halfway across the country. So my dad stays in Chicago, and I come out here with my mom, and I go to see my dad for winter and summer breaks. So my getting to know him is extremely segmented as well. Yeah.
So, was this, man, it's a tough question to ask, but like, did it hit you or her?
It definitely hit me. For her, I think she has her own way of feeling about it. For me, I was definitely going through the motions of grief. I mean, I still grieve. It's a whole thing. But initially, it's something that's very sad, right? Because I don't have a great relationship with him.
Yeah.
The relationship worsens, right? Because as a teen, like, it's hard for any teen to be really interested in their parents' lives.
I think you always have time.
Yeah. And so once you hit college, things are starting to get better, but, I don't talk to him as much. I don't have as much time. So we don't leave off on the best foot before he passes. And then he passes. So a lot of, I wouldn't say regret. Regret's not necessarily the right word, but something with like that liminal state between regret and grief where I'm like, it's like nostalgia I never had type thing, right? Like, I know it could have been something had I been a better person, maybe had other things happened, but we couldn't. So for me, again, it's the same idea of like, I have no idea what having siblings is like.
Yeah.
I have no idea what having an extended family is like. I don't really have a good perception on what having like a father figure that's present in your life 24/7 is either. So
you're literally just like, geez, dude, you mentioned this keyword alone. I'm trying to dig, right? Like,
yeah, I feel you.
You ever feel like you get it, like someone you can go through, like, I know it's you and your mom.
Yeah.
But I imagine your mom has to now figure out how to provide, and so she's kind of distancing.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to have someone who's stable in your life that you're able to kind of like go through and feel like that person is like there to support? Or is it just...
No, I don't think so. And that's not till like recently where like I've had like stable, like I have a found family, right? Like you have your friends who like are with you, but like friends come and go. That's the other issue.
Right.
So like I have a found family through Improv Revolution
Right.
at school. But that can only carry you so far. You can't get in like the nitty gritty detail of life.
You go through this show and then I'll see you later.
Yeah, right. Like, let's hang out every so often.
But you're not really like jumping into the details.
Yeah, not often. With a couple, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
College, you graduate.
Yep.
And no real knowing of what the game plan is going to look like.
Nope.
You working?
Nope, not working. Trying to do internships and things here. Mom is being as supportive as she can. She's an ideas person, so she's like, well, if you're not doing a job, I can still support you. So, like, go to internships that won't pay you. The issue comes in that I'm not a very proactive thinker, and I'm still trying to be a proactive thinker. And so any internships I do, I do not capitalize on them, right? I don't create connections. I don't sow roots so that people can support me and help me grow or like open doors for me. So I do that for a while.
What is? Can I ask you? It's a hard question.
Sure.
And it's a simple question. But why?
It's a great question, and I have to think it's because as an only child who is a son, your Asian parents do a lot for you, but because you're an only child, they also don't do a great job of like preparing you for the world because they're so busy like living their own lives and trying to like stay afloat.
Right.
So my parents have just enough energy to like keep us afloat and alive, but not much else to like tell me like, oh, you should definitely learn how to do that, or you should be proactive about these type of things, or like you should have a curious mindset, which leads to like growth mindset, so that you understand the inner workings of the world, or at least you have the ability to like try to learn about the world.
Wait, but aren't you like at least like you seem like such an outward finding people to build these connections.
Yeah.
It seems like something you would be pretty good at or did you feel like there was like you would build connections to make friends, but was it like you were scared to build connections? Like, was it fear of failure type of thing? Oh, if I go and ask someone to like, hey, let's like, is there any long-term positions here? Like, what do you, or was it just purely just like, I didn't really think about it?
The issue is I have a struggle with vulnerability, right? Oh, so okay. I'm really good with like making friends, right? Like this need to be the class clown means that I'll always use humor as sort of like the extender and like, hey, let's chat and hang out. But it also means that like when it gets down to like needing to talk about stuff, I'll diffuse and I'll deflect. So that's the issue, is that I'm not very good about making like really strong interpersonal relationships. And I try my best. Like I understand it's an issue, so I do my best to like learn about people and like have people learn about me. But it wasn't something I grew up doing, so it's very much a learned skill. Yeah.
You're going through life now. You're getting older.
Yep.
You're like, okay, shoot. Okay. And I'm looking a little bit deep in the future.
Yep.
You start like creating your own theater group?
Yeah.
Is that I know it's gonna be kind of sorry guys, it's a little off topic. But what I go through from that improv group? No, right? That was something you
No. Yeah. So you're talking about Noah Mashiadin. Or are you talking about improv? Noah Mashiadin.
Yes. That's so curious how that begun.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine named Eric Vu, who is the other progenitor of our team, he is a OC-based writer, actor, and overall comedian. We do a show together at Fullerton in a now defunct physically theater called Stages Theater. They're still around as a company. We do a show together, and he knows I direct, and he knows sketch comedy, which is SNL. If you know Saturday Night Live, that's sketch comedy. And he's like, hey, there is a market where Asians are not really on stage that much. I'd love to form a team with you where like we try to make sketch comedy for Asians legitimate, good, and fully opportunistic for everybody to take part of. So that's what we do. We create a sketch team that's for Asian people, for Asians. And we try to recruit as many people as are interested, and we try to give it the good old-fashioned try. And I think we're on our fourth going on our 5th year now. So things are looking stable enough. So that's how No MSG starts, is that...
and are you a director for them, or...?
Yeah, so I'm the director. So that's like my official title, and I'll write every so often. I'll act every so often. But Eric and I really try to make sure that our roles are defined so that we can check each other and make sure that there's no like breach of power or like authority or doing anything crazy.
You said you worked together at one point. That's how you met.
Correct.
What was that?
It was called the Post-Apocalyptic Bunker Comedy Show. And it was a fully improvised play.
And how are you finding these opportunities?
You just see things here and there when you're walking around. Like Facebook's a really good like way to be like, oh, there's a cool little flyer as you go audition, or like you meet certain people here and there. I'm not like, I say that I'm very bad at finding opportunities and connections, only so far as I'm not very good at like being proactive on how to find them. But you look in the right direction enough, and like something will literally fall into your lap. And I will say, I'll be the first to admit that I'm exceptionally lucky in all aspects of my life. So a lot of very nice opportunities have fallen my way for theater.
Can you break that down?
Yeah, I guess I got a full ride to UCI Which is also why I stayed the 5th year, because they pay you for 5 years. So I got really lucky on the SATs, and so I got a full ride to UCI, and it was a full ride for chemical engineering. But then when I told them I'm not going to be a chemical engineer anymore, they just let me keep it and like put it towards drama. So very lucky there. Very lucky to be on certain teams like iRev, even though I don't really have a reason to be on there. Not a good enough improviser to warrant that, but they were feeling very generous. Yeah, just I don't know. I just consider myself a really lucky guy with like opportunities, like meeting the right people at certain times. That's, yeah.
I feel like this not, do you know what they say? Luck is made when preparation, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I hear, yeah. Luck is like preparation
means,
plus like timing or something.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Right. Is you get lucky. I think you work pretty hard. In theory,
people say that. I like to think I do because I'm always tired, but I don't feel like I'm a hard worker. You know what I mean?
You don't feel as productive.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I don't feel very productive.
You're active.
Yes.
Your mind's racing. You're doing something.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
But you don't feel like you're actually productive.
No,
but
I don't produce.
But you're producing.
That's true.
No, but like these shows are getting done. You're
Yep.
kind of stepping into the actor role, but you also taste with the director role. You're doing multiple different things. You're tasting the world.
Yep.
You always could do more. That's the question, right?
Yeah.
So, self-love.
Yeah.
Does that exist during this kind of like work period? Because now like you're in the workforce.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because I chose a field that's really subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue, is that like if I were a scientist, I could have a boss that'd be like, wow, you did that science experiment really well. I'm proud of you. Right? Because like quantifiably, like I know like I was supposed to get this or I didn't get this. And at least I have like I have results. I have results. But like theater is an exceptionally subjective field. So like even if I put like my life's work and energy into a project, somebody could be like, like that was terrible. Or like, I guess it was fine. And it could literally mean nothing. And so that's the issue, is that like I chose a field where like my needs are that I have to be validated. And in order to be validated, you have to be really good. And I may not always be really good is the issue. So that's the hard thing about that.
So you seek this validation again.
Always.
I feel like that's just because it's the nature of the role.
Yeah, for sure.
Like your work is like specific about like no one's really throwing flowers at the end of the show.
Sure, yeah.
You just kind of leave.
Yep.
You just like, okay. Hopefully they come back. I guess that's the thing. Or it feels like such a weird thing, right? You feel like you're dealing with this dynamic where like you could do so well promoting a show.
Sure.
Then the show happens.
Yep.
Right? And then people leave. It's like they always leave.
Yeah.
Right? And you said that one of the most important times of your life is not important times of your life, but these key moments is these times where you're able to get that kind of recognition, the attention.
Yeah.
Putting on a show of love. Right?
Yeah.
Showing like love and exemplary, normally with someone next to you, right?
Sure.
You're saying show love to somebody, but in these grand schemes and things, right? And then it kind of just ends, right? The show ends.
The beautiful thing about theater, which is like a big defining distinction for me for theater and like film, is the reason why theater is really beautiful is that because it ends. It has to end. Nothing can go on forever, right? Like a live show can only go on for as long as you get that group of people and that space and time with those audience members. And once that experience is over, like it's done, right? It's very ethereal. So it's like everybody will leave. It's just what they leave with. So for me, I'm no longer like I just want to like impress upon people something. So I lost my train of thought there, but I will say it's the validation is not necessarily it's no longer about like I just need to be recognized. Sure, always love to be recognized. But now it's that I'm trying to say something, or hopefully say something, or have people leave thinking I've said something.
I imagine you get a lot of opinions through life of the way you see the world, you see life.
I wish I got more, actually. I don't get enough opinions. Not enough people will talk to me.
So what are you trying to say in your comedy?
Did you laugh? You know? That's the hope. Well, like,
Things are simple.
yeah, or like, if you laughed, why did you laugh? Right? And like, what can I do? If I make you laugh, is it because I made you laugh by punching down? Like, was it satire? Was it bullying? Was it generally thoughtful commentary on a specific topic, and that's why you laughed? Right? Like, I'm curious about what the results, or how the results were produced. Right? So not unlike a scientist, we'll have a result. The result is there was a show. Right? We're like, how we yielded those results, I'm also really curious about. Like, the rehearsal process for the show, was it worth it for people? Like, did they find gratification out of how much work and time they put in versus like having the performance? So that's the other thing, is that like I'm just trying to gauge, like, was it worth it for these people or those people, or like my actors or the people I work with?
I have two final questions.
Sure.
One I'm very curious about,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that you can go more in depth with this. Why is, you mentioned this even when you were a kid, but like, why is laughing, the laughter part of it? Is it because you want people to be happy? The happiness that, like, I won't say you wish you had, but per se, like, you want to have with others? Like, what is it that, like, I just want people to laugh? It's nothing. There's no more like I'm trying to get you to be socially political and understand like this simple. You know, it's just this, like, I just want people to laugh. Is it because you see the struggles of like what people? You said you were inside the swing dance. So you saw the struggles of kind of like your friends and their life and what they were going through. Also the struggle within your own life. Do you just kind of like, man, I just want people to smile and laugh? Is it more like a giving thing, or is it more of like, you know, I need that attention. I need to know that someone is laughing around me so I can feel like, okay, cool, I did my job, or I did something productive, or like, I'm just curious on like, what is it about the laughter side when it comes to this theater, improv, stand up, like this thing that follows you throughout your life?
Yeah.
Why that kind of the laughter, the vulnerability is tough, but the
Exact word you use. No, vulnerability. Yeah.
validation, excuse me, it's important.
Comedy first, right? Like a comedy-centered mindset. Watched a lot of movies growing up. Still watch a lot of movies. But I love Adam Sandler. I love Jim Carrey. And overall, what I love about those movies is that, like, they exist purely to make you laugh. And, like, if there's a moral to be taught, great. So be it, right? Like, Happy Gilmore, just don't be a dick. Right? Like, et cetera, et cetera. I guess I'm going to lose my train of thought. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is comedy, you can't be sad when you're laughing. I now know that you can definitely be sad when you're laughing, and oftentimes when you're sad, you laugh. But, like, as a kid, I understand it to be like, you know, if you're laughing, there's no way you can be sad. I hate when people are sad. It's a bad thing. Like, nobody wants to be sad. And if I can do my part to, like, make sure people aren't sad, great. And again, as an adult, I understand the emotions are highly nuanced and complex, and, like, you can have multiple emotions all at once. I understand that. But, like, as a kid, when, like black and white thinking, you're either sad or you're laughing. And I was like, I very much chose, like, always want to be laughing. And I think in lieu of having a parental figure that was really able to help me create my own values and morals, I had, like, Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey, who were like, comedy first, always comedy. Like, I think that's why comedy has always stayed in my life, as like, those are the figures that are present in my mind as I grow up, are just like, my goal is to make you laugh. My goal is to make you leave happier than you came in watching this. And I guess that's still the goal. Hopefully there's more commentary on it now, right? Hopefully it's profound. Hopefully it means something. Yeah.
And then my last question before we go into the ending of our show.
All right.
Are you happy?
Most days, I think I am. I think.
Is this the life that you know?
I think so. It's that old adage where it's just like, my life can't be anything other than like what it is, because like all the choices I made are what got me here. And I find it hard regretting those choices. I can always be like, I definitely should have like invested in that stock, or I definitely should have said this instead of that, like, or I definitely should have like focused there. But it is nice to know that like where I've gone in my life, I've gotten to a nice place, because of the decisions I've made, or again, because I'm exceptionally lucky. I will always say because I'm exceptionally lucky that I am where I am. So I am happy. I am happy, and I'm also always unhappy, only because I don't have a great definition of what being happy is. I have an idea of what I think happy should be, and most times I think I fit that description. But again, I love my parents. They didn't do a great sense of like instilling in me like what love is, what happiness is. Did a great job of instilling what failure is. So I always know where my failures and my mistakes are. So yeah, that's my complex answer of like, I think I'm happy.
Okay. We have a question that we normally ask.
Great.
But looking back at your life,
Yeah.
right? I saw you kind of mention it, but do you have any regrets?
Oh man, so many.
Really?
Yeah. Like more than I can count.
Really?
Yeah. All the time. I regret things I did yesterday. You know what I mean? Like I had hot pot yesterday, and I regret not eating more vegetables. I regret a lot of things in my life.
Is it like a again, it's kind of like, what do they call it? Something comedic relief type of feeling?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Or is it more of a like a is it more like a, I don't know. I think you already said for sure, yeah. So I don't know if that's like the answer yet. So I don't want to say.
Well, here. I mean, well, like, I guess here, right? Like, I mean, this is like the like a beautiful point. I used comedy to deflect when I had an opportunity to be vulnerable, right? So like, I regret not eating more vegetables, but in sincerity, I regret not calling my dad for his last birthday to wish him a happy birthday. Like, I really regret that. I've terrible memory. I have a terrible memory with a lot of things. But I really regret not calling him for his birthday. Because that's a simple thing to do to let people know that you're thinking of them and that you love them. So I regret that a lot.
Looking at your life and how it's gone now, what's the dream? I like to look it through the past. The reason we do this show is because we like to look through that past. I knew it. What? Nothing. I knew something's going on. Hey, shout outs. Sarah's gonna lose her mind, but yeah, I saw. Okay, I was like, yo, I know there's something happening here. To all the people who are gonna watch the show in the future, just know that after this, we're gonna find this lizard and we're gonna raise it to be like our best friend. She's going on the hunt.
Oh, yep, fair enough. Oh, shoot.
So anyway, back to what we were doing,
chat. Looking at your life,
yeah,
right?
Sarah, you got it. Sarah, just like go for it. You're a thug.
You got this.
You got this, Sarah.
Yeah.
You're like an OG.
It's more scared of you than you are of it.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I've always been told.
That's you know what? Wisdom, wisdom, right here.
Let me tell you, I learned that the hard way. I did.
Facts.
Yes.
That's a good story. Talk about that. I'm just kidding.
Sure. All right. Well, let me tell you, bullies are not afraid of me more than I'm afraid of them. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. No. Okay. What's the goal? I recently.
Well, yeah. What's the dream? Like, what's the end goal? What's the goal? What do you want out of life? What are you fighting for? Yeah. What do you want to? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want your legacy to be?
Great question. there's this beautiful movie called Past Lives that I think that's still in theaters. But it's about these two childhood friends who the timing never matched up in their lives to ever be together. But they keep popping into each other's lives at different moments in time. But this beautiful subplot, which really ties into this idea of like these grand gestures of romantic love, to now like grand gestures of romantic love can just be like filling up your cup of coffee in the morning without having to be asked, right? Like the movie does this really beautiful thing where the one of the protagonists, she starts by wanting to be like a Nobel Peace Prize winner when she's a kid, and throughout the years that they meet up again, she slowly dissolves that dream to be something a little less but just as meaningful to her. She's like, I'd love to win like the Nobel Peace Prize for literature. And then later she's like, I would love to be, I would just love to win like the Pulitzer. And then after that she's like, I'd just like to win a Tony, right? So like varying levels and like decreasing levels of importance, but still meaningful to her. For me, that's the goal, right? Like it used to be like, I want to be on Broadway. I want to be the next like Robert Downey Jr. I gotta be. I can be. And like part of me is just like, yeah, I would love to be like on a stage that big. But part of me is also just happy enough to be like directing where I am and to continue directing and maybe direct at bigger places and have MSG be at bigger locales. But I'm also like extremely happy and satisfied where I am currently. So the goal is just to never, I don't know. I guess the cop-out answer would be like, my goal is to just continue to be thankful for how lucky I am. I hope I never lose sight of like how lucky I am. Yeah, that's my goal.
Mr. Shinshin
Yeah.
Yuder Tsai.
Yes.
So, huh?
Before you say,
We got a question.
Oh, for sure.
no,
Oh, never mind. No question.
liberty kick.
Uh,
Said,
yeah, you, Sarah, hop in there. Hop in the chat. Sarah, yeah, you got this. Hey, Sarah, we're gonna bring the mic over to Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on in.
Let me see if I can lean in here, guys. Let me see what's going on here. Nora and I. Wait. I can't read that.
Haesung?
Sarah, you gotta just say it to me.
Okay, Nora and Haesung, two deeply connected childhood friends, are arrested apart after Nora's family emigrated from South Korea. 20 years later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront notion of love and destiny.
So this is the movie.
Yeah, that's that's Past Lives. Yeah. It's a really beautiful movie.
Is it that good?
I thought it was freaking fantastic.
Yo, because I'm always interested. This show, why I like doing is because I would like to jump into more. That's why I'm really excited to talk to you about this in the next show. I thank you so much for the comment, by the way. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's really important for me is to kind of, again, surround ourselves with people who kind of like to be a part of like these different worlds.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is interesting is that you are kind of in this director role, right?
Yeah.
Do you see like the theater and the movie? Do you feel like, man, I could write something like that? Is that ever something like on your mind?
Yes.
Things that touch you like that? Do you
Yes.
feel like you have something cooking in your like, you know, in your notes app or something?
Here's my issue: is that my parents did not instill pride in me. To be clear, I'm a very proud person at times,
Right,
and it's
right,
not
right.
great. It's called hubris, right? Where it's like you have too much pride. The problem is that like when I think I have a good idea, immediately I'm like, it's not that good of an idea. So I have like ideas on ideas on ideas, but I'm like crippled by this notion that like it's not good. And I like to think that I'm self-aware enough to know that like some of the ideas have legs and most of them don't, and that's good.
Have you forgot them?
No.
Have you forgotten good ideas?
No, I write everything down.
Good. Oh, good. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, I write everything down. But beyond that, it does not reach other people often, anyway. So I've let myself write a couple sketches. I've always wanted to write a play and a screenplay. Well, I've written a play. Sorry, I should be clear on that. I've always wanted to write another play. But life always just seems to get in the way, And so I got to do a better job of like prioritizing my life.
Well, then let's go into our final segment.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm gonna ask you a list of questions here.
Love it.
Okay, and then we have a final question at the very end.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you a list of questions here, and these are questions that are hand chosen by Song Gita. And she was listening to some things, so I'm really curious how you're gonna answer these because she really thought, Sarah even got into it.
All right.
So if you had to give a one sentence tagline for your life, what would it be? And how are we doing on time, by the way?
Oh, we're great.
We're great?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh, bet.
All right. Oh, one sentence tagline.
If you had to give a one sentence tagline for your life, what would it be?
Oh, great. Oh, shoot. Again, right? The comedian in me would be like, without me, you would have ridiculous cankles. Right? Like, that's my tagline, because, like, without shins, your knees would just be connected to your ankles.
Shinshin.
Right? Like, that. So, like, that's like the first tagline. It's like, you need me in your life. Validate my existence. That's the comedian in me. The person that is trying to be a little more purposeful with his life would say, like, just the lucky guy who needs to realize he's lucky. I don't know. Like, that'd be, like, my tagline.
You and this luck thing.
Yeah,
Well deserved, but we'll see if I can convince you otherwise.
Oh, for sure.
Luck is not everything.
Nah, that's what they say.
Do you believe in a soulmate? Why or why not?
Oh, great. Yes, I do believe in a soulmate. But the definition of a soulmate has changed for me. But I still believe in the notion. There's a movie called Crazy Stupid Love. That's another great movie, by the way. Past Lives and Crazy Stupid Love. Those are my two. Past Lives.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Stupid Love. Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Emma Watson.
Someone write in the chat.
What is Crazy Stupid Love?
Crazy Stupid Love. Oh, I would love to hear what somebody's synopsis is, because it's such a nothing movie, but it's also like such a great movie. Anyway, the notion of soulmates has changed for me. Right? I used to think like soulmates was like, you are a unique piece of a puzzle, and no one can complete you except for one person in 7.2 billion. And when you find that person, everything freaking clicks, and like life makes sense, and you have like eternal cosmic enlightenment. That's what I used to think a soulmate was, and I'd be like,
planets are created around you.
Planets are, exactly. Like the universe exists solely because you guys might meet. That used to be my concept of a soulmate, and I used to believe that. My idea of a soulmate, again, just like love, is just somebody who's willing to put up with me. And if somebody's willing to put up with me, I consider myself very lucky.
Do you feel that? See this thing of like this so cynical?
Yeah. No. It's like such a thing.
It's like it's. I don't know if it's a little bit of. Oh shoot, Sarah, she sees it again. Just make friends with it, Sarah. Pick up the lizards.
The lizard might be your soulmate.
Pick up the lizard. It might be your soulmate. One of your
you
best
don't know.
friend.
Universes might have been created.
Just climb
for
on
you.
your feet right here. This is a moment.
Yeah, it's more scared of you than it is than you of it. That's why I tell myself all the time. The monster under my bed, it's more scared of me than I am of it.
So,
Hey, Liberty.
Shout out to
without
Liberty.
me, you would have ridiculous cankles.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Shout out. You're right.
A middle-aged husband's life changes dramatically when his wife asks him for a divorce. He seeks to rediscover
Nice.
his manhood with the help of newfound friend Jacob.
is that Crazy Stupid
That's
Love?
Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, chat.
Yep.
Thank
Going through
you.
Clutch.
Chat's the shit.
I love it.
Shout outs to them.
I agree.
And so why you gotta? Is it humility? Is it because you feel like you just? Is it the undeserving? Like you didn't do it? Like why do you feel like it's this? Why not? Like why you said pride? You didn't get instilled with pride. Yeah, why not pride? Like why is it not like?
My mom has said she's proud of me once in her whole life, and to be clear, it's not because I think she has been proud of me more than once. I think all she could muster up in her life to say that was once. And maybe my father has said that once, right? So again, I'm just not. I was not instilled a good sense of like what is deserving and what is undeserving. So I always just deviate to like, I'm lucky. You know, like I'm lucky. Fortuitous things had to have happened for me to be here. Which is, I mean, actually, that's very true. My mom said I was a very hard baby to conceive. So like, luck is in the name type of thing.
Well then, okay. This question then.
All right.
What's a personality trait you wish you had more of, and why?
Oh man, there's like 17 I wish I had. I don't know, man. I wish proactive. Proactive is such a good one. I wish I was a more proactive person. I really do. My life would be so much better if I was proactive about things. It just means that I plan better. Right? Like I try to plan. I'm not smart enough to plan that well, but like I need to plan better. And if I had a better plan and I planned more, life would go so well. But like there's just need for me to be like, nah, I'm good. I'll remember it. I don't need to talk to them now. I don't need to send that email yet. Had I just talked to that person, sent that email then, did it then, I'd be in a much better place.
Okay, then I think I have a good question.
All right.
If you were a superhero,
Shoot. All right.
what would be your 3 superpowers?
Shoot.
Hey, chat, tell me what your 3 superpowers would be.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
One would be proactiveness.
You're making this.
I'd be so. They'd be calling me.
These are like superpowers. I mean, oh shit.
Have you seen a proactive person? That's a fucking superpower to be proactive, man. All right, my actual superpowers.
No, you're fine. If that's the let it rock.
Let me tell you. Man, I don't know. I would say like, like the OP person in me would be like copy ability. Yeah, I would just steal other people's abilities, stop time, and change things, and then like. It would be like matter manipulation or like reality manipulation. Like those would be like my powers of us, right? Like just like the most overpowered, disgusting things. But that's not as fun. Like I would just like to be proactive. Like Batman's proactive.
What is the name? What is the name of this superhero? This proactive superhero.
Yeah, proactive man. Pro man. Active man. Proactive man. No, I don't know.
You're about to build a whole new skit from this part.
Right, I know. Shoot, being proactive is like one of the best life skills you can have. Let me tell you.
Dave.
What would his name? Their
Talking
name?
from a UCI graduate, full ride. Come on, brother. Give yourself more credit.
I could have been more proactive.
No,
I applied for Harvard, and I don't know if I got in simply because I didn't want to check. You know what I mean? Like I might have been a Harvard grad, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, see, that's a little too much hubris. That's a lot of hubris. I'm just not proactive. That's what I'm trying to say. God, what this guy's name? I don't know. Proactive man. I love it. Let's stay
there. Then.
Lucky man. He's a lucky proactive.
The lucky man.
Yeah,
it comes full circle.
That's reality manipulation, right? If you're proactive, you can stop time. You can reality manipulate whatever you need if you're proactive. Nah, I'm sticking with that. Yeah, you're right. Let it ride. I don't know why I'm second guessing it. Proactive lucky man. That's my title.
Last question.
All right.
Not really.
Okay.
When was the last time you felt truly encouraged and supported?
Oh, shoot. I'll be honest. Not because I can't think of anything, because again, I know I'm very lucky. And you can't feel lucky if you weren't supported and encouraged.
Feels a strong word. So
yes.
When's the last time you truly felt encouraged and supported?
I could not tell you, man. But it's not because I don't know. I'm pretty sure at some point it had to have happened. Multiple times, actually. I just could not tell you. You know, I mean, anytime I'm rehearsing. What am I saying? Anytime I've been rehearsing for a show where I have...
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Oh, my God. Wow, it's a tiny lizard.
Just get the cup in there and just pick it up. Hey, can we get one of these cameras? Hey,
yeah,
listen, guys, we're gonna just. This is
lucky.
This is it.
This is literal luck. Oh my God, that thing is so cute.
Let's see if I can pick it up. Hey, chat. Sorry, we got a lizard in the studio, so we gotta. You didn't change to it yet. You didn't change it to it yet.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you gotta press the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get this.
There you go.
Live style. Okay. Do you want to see this?
Do you see it? It's right.
It's right there.
Right there between the wires. That brown thing.
Hey, zoom in, Sarah, with the zoom right there.
Yeah.
This is wildlife.
Get that man.
So, I'm here.
No Crocodile Dundee up in this. Rip Crocodile Dundee.
Okay. Sorry about that. Liberty.
Oh, he's good.
He's like so small. Liberty kick. Harvard was actively discriminating against Asians.
That's
until
true.
the recent Supreme Court decision. So you probably didn't get it, but try again now. Oh, that's a good point.
I can't afford that. I'm not that lucky. I know I'm lucky, but I'm not that lucky.
You got a full ride. You probably get a master's full ride too, right? Is that how do they do full rides for masters?
Some places do. I don't think Harvard's one of them.
No.
Listen, my father wasn't white or rich enough for me to be getting a full ride of masters at Harvard.
Thank you for the question, Liberty Kick. And it is super small. I agree.
It is.
It's still here, dude. Sarah don't know what to do. She know?
Chilling. I think it's lost part of its tail. So I mean, it's been running from something.
Yeah, it's been trying to get it. So, all right, final question.
All right, final question.
And then we have to go, guys. We have to find out how to get this lizard to a safe place.
Yes. It's pretty safe.
I mean,
None of us are hostile.
Not for long. Sarah's trying to get the arson over here. She's gonna bring the poison and everything. All right, so okay, here's the question.
He's going hard.
I don't know if you want to do this, but I'm really curious about this specific question, especially for you. Family has never been a big part of your life. You never really had that.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a family, your great-great-grandchild, let's say your son.
Sure.
Looks back at this show.
Yeah.
Wants to learn a little bit more about, his father. If something, God forbid, something happens to you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give him?
Problem? No shot. Not having kids. Nobody's watching this from my bloodline. That's gonna be like, oh, I wish my dad. Hypothetically, I'll play that game any day of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Then.
Yeah, sure.
Full stop.
Okay. All right.
Then let's say your mother watches this.
Oh, great. Oh, I do not want her watching this, man.
Okay.
Oh shit, we're going for the. Oh my god.
She's trying for it.
She's trying.
Oh my gosh, it's moving.
Sorry, Sarah's on it. She's trying so hard.
She's doing her best.
Guys, listen, this is not a professional show.
Sorry. No, I'm good. Oh, I mean, that lizard's coming into the show right now. All right, hypothetically, if mom's watching this, mom, I love you. If my future son or whatever is watching this, what advice? Be proactive. That's the first thing. That's the joke, right? I gotta be vulnerable. I don't need to be vulnerable. I should be vulnerable. I want to be vulnerable. This is what happens when you get inside my head. What's the advice?
What's the advice, man?
See things for what they are. And take time to smell the roses. That's a really good one. That's like the one I wish somebody had told me, right? Because I'm always told I'm not working hard enough, or that I'm working too hard, which just makes me work harder. But yeah, take time to appreciate life. I really feel like I've had moments of that. And when you ask me when I was happy, I'm sitting here when have I been happy? It's when I've taken enough time for myself just to appreciate what life is. Yeah. That's take time. Take time to appreciate what life is.
I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Well,
one of the things I think I took a lot from it was the importance of of people.
Yeah.
I think you don't go through life alone. It's not meant for that, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think life is definitely meant to have it around people.
Yeah.
And you never really know where someone comes from. I remember seeing you. You always looked like, oh, dude, Shinshin looked dope. He looked so much. He's always doing plays. He's doing shows. But I never knew what you were dealing with.
Yeah.
I never knew kind of what you were the struggles that you were dealing with of kind of just having to go through life alone. But I also seems like that you have. I mean, you flourish, and now you want to call it lucky. I would call it determination. You don't give up. You're always trying to find something new, whether it be entertaining yourself or entertaining others. Right? You literally your families came from a whole entire different country.
Yeah.
And you found the opportunity to make the best of that. And, dude, you're only like a third of the way in.
That's what they say, but if my health is anything to be considered, I don't know. I might be halfway. Shoot.
We won't make that happen, okay? Right?
All right,
We're gonna
for
make
sure,
sure
for
things get through.
All right, fair enough.
Where can people find you, man? How can people connect with you?
Oh, great. I don't know. I'm really bad at social media. I wish I was better. I see. If I was a proactive man, I'd be much better at social media, and I was prepared for this, but I'm not. Shoot, man. Find me at find my team. That's who's important to me. Find my team.
Find your teammate.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
No MSG added.
Hey, you know what? I'm
Comedy.
going to his Instagram right now. Okay, we're gonna get his IG name right now.
I
Everybody.
literally have not posted on Instagram for like 4 years. I was
Alright.
literally a different man back then.
Okay, he was going through it. Okay,
I was going through it.
But listen, still, you know what I'm saying? If you want to connect with you, anything that goes on,
No MSG added. You can. I mean, message me on Instagram. I think my tag is Shinny Shin Shin.
Shinny Shinshin. Yep. SHINNY SHINSHIN.
Yeah, feel free to cover. Yeah, I love to talk. I love talking theater. I love talking video games. I really love talking about food. We can just chat. If you really want to get to know me, come watch a show. Let me know if you need a comp. I'll do my best. Come watch our comedy show. The team works really hard. So come watch No MSG Added Comedy. Shout out Chance Theater in Anaheim. That's where I work. Chance Theater and the lovely staff there have treated me very well. They've treated us very well. I learn so much from them every day. So if you want to see exceptional good theater for affordable prices, go to Chance Theater. They do really good work there and continue to do good work, and they deserve it. That's where I'm at. I'm lucky. I should be proactive. I'm lucky.
the lizard is gone, guys. For everyone looking for a
good.
lizard update, it is gone.
Part of the show.
It is part of the show. It's gonna live here forever. We're gonna build a statue for it. And thank you for everyone who joined in and who hopped on. We do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7. And so I'm really excited for next week. But I really appreciate you joining us today, man. Thank you
Thanks for
hopping
having
on
me
with
out.
us,
I
man.
really appreciate this.
And to everyone out there, all the lizard people, peace, love, and happiness, even after death. All right, guys. Good night. Shout outs to Liberty Kick again. He's a homie. Okay.
Real one. I appreciate it.